Good evening, ladies. It's not even evening yet, is it, Freddie? I don't know what's going on with the background. I'm having a mare today. There we go. Sorry. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Welcome back to the Weekly Armchair. Freddie's joining me. We have got a couple more coming on in a moment. All a bit frantic today. Jarvis is just joining me, my good man. A massive 3 points today, boys. Something that we desperately needed after, obviously, what happened during the week. And I think that there were a lot of players that stepped up today. I know it was only 1-0. You know, we'd like to get a few more goals and all that business. But ultimately, it's 3 points. And I felt that defensively, particularly Lindelof and Shaw, really. But, the things at the end, clearance off the line and all that. I thought he was fantastic today. Malacia improved, that kind of thing. Anyway, Freddie, thanks for joining me, buddy. How are you feeling after that?
Marc, I'm very well, thank you. Firstly, just a big well done to everyone who took part in the process today. Hopefully, that leads us one step closer to the Glazers leaving the club. So, yeah, fantastic scenes.
Massive turnout, wasn't it? And
Brilliant.
really, really proud and impressed with everyone. So obviously, I think everyone that wasn't able to attend did their bit as well. But yeah, great point there, Freddie. I forgot.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Not at all. And yeah, to the game, solid performance. 3 points won against a very, very tough opposition. I think it's actually understated how well Villa have been performing this calendar year. I think they've got the best record post World Cup out of everyone in the league, which was quite astounding when I heard that stat. So yeah, it just further emphasises how important and how difficult today was going to be. And we've got another clean sheet, another one on De Gea's tally. And a goal from Bruno. So I think we controlled the game from start to finish. I think we learned from the Tottenham game. Players like you mentioned, Lindelof again, fantastic with Luke Shaw. Casemiro had probably one of his best games in the last few at least. He seemed a lot more aggressive. I think conditions favour him when it's a little bit of rain. He can go into that aggressive mode and skid off the turf, and thought his anticipation there was brilliant. I think their high line really benefited us, and it shows the confidence that they have this season to come to Old Trafford and play like that, which not many teams do that. However, I think it played in our hand. I think Erik realised that was going to be the case before the game, hence why he played Rashford through the middle. And you could quite clearly see that it was our main tactic to be direct and play Rashford in as soon as the possibility arose. And that led to the goal. I think it was a fantastic header from Casemiro to Rashford, and then a good finish from Bruno at the back post. I think we should have probably had a few more. Very unlucky that Casemiro hit the post crossbar again. Oh, we've hit the crossbar again 2 games in a row, as Bruno last game. But one thing we are very good at is, once we've had a bit of a shaky performance, we're very good at reacting. And you can tell after the Tottenham game, Ten Hag was fuming in his post-match. The last few days, you can tell they would have been working on that. That would have been in their heads. And ultimately, the most important aspect of today was getting the 3 points. So, which we've done. So, job done. On to Brighton next Thursday, which is another very good game. But yeah, a big step today to cementing our place in the top 4.
Yeah, great points there, buddy. Absolutely right. It was a tough one today. Aston Villa have failed to score during a game for the first time since Unai Emery took charge. They had scored in each of their previous 20 games. That's an incredible stat, really, and again, commendable to the back 4, I think, today for not allowing that to happen. Jarvis, thank you very much for joining me, buddy. I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. We won the game, so it couldn't be better. It's such an important day, with the protests and all that. But the players delivered, and I would say the first thing that struck me with the game was Ten Hag's perfect game plan. We had the perfect game plan and structure to beat down Aston Villa. The high press from Bruno and Sabitzer, they were giving constant trouble for Minks and Konsa. They were trying to play out from the back, but we were just pushing and pushing and pushing. So we forced them to make mistakes. And when we had the ball, I love the mix with Eriksen and Casemiro, and how we mixed it up by hitting the channels on Rashford. So we're forcing them back all the time, and with even with Casemiro and other players, like shifting the play. So we mix it up really good. So they didn't know how to put their line of pressure in the Aston Villa defense, if they should back up or push up. So we made them really confused, I would say, because of the game plan from Ten Hag. So I'm really pleased how he set up the team, and he found the key to break down Unai Emery's, I would say, hexagon of defense with the the two midfielders and the center backs and the narrow shape. So excellent from Ten Hag. So I give him 10 out of 10 today.
There you go, 10 out of 10. Positive stuff by Jarvis. Yeah, I think you both sort of mentioned it. I think they did play into our hands a little bit today. I think he did set up right. Surprised not to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I think Dalot also had a good game today. But as they were playing narrow, he was able to cut inside and get further forward within there. Playing a high line, obviously, it meant that we could get them on the shoulder. And I thought Rashford was particularly good at that today, and obviously he started the movement for the goal. I want to talk about someone else, Freddie, and I'll come to you on this. Luke Shaw. We've seen him sort of play a bit part role all season. I know we spoke about it kind of last week, and previous games against Barcelona. Another really good performance by him as well today. Not his conventional position. Malacia covered well for him, but he had 100 touches, 93% pass accuracy, 84 passes completed, 9 out of 13 final third passes completed. Got forward quite well. 6 ball coveries, 3 out of 4 ground duels, 1, 3 long balls completed, and 3 interceptions. How do you think he fared today?
Yeah, another solid performance, and it's quite good to see the partnership that he's having with Lindelof defensively. I think those two are looking very well together. And I quite like the Malacia sort of pivot with Shaw when they do play together. Sometimes you do see them interchange. Shaw will push out as a left back, and then Malacia will drop in. And you can just see they're playing with a lot of confidence at the minute, which is very unusual in considering it's a makeshift back four. 2 centre backs are both injured and whatnot. So yeah, I think he's got all the attributes for a top centre back. In reality, he's very physical. I think he's very fast as well, which is quite unusual. It's not something we really associate with our centre backs, and he's good at that recovery run. And I think most importantly, his reading of the game has improved tremendously this season, and I'd put that down to coaching for Ten Hag, instilling that. It's something he's been criticised for heavily, particularly when we had Mourinho as manager, that his reading of the game was very poor. And you need that as a centre-back. And something I mentioned last time I was on, I questioned his record while he's played centre-back, and I think it's very good. I can't remember a game we've lost when he's played at centre-back. So, yeah, he's doing very well there. I think we do lose something on left-back when he doesn't play there, because inevitably he's our best left-back as well. But given the injuries, yeah, he's a fantastic option to have, and kudos to Ten Hag for realising that and utilising it at this point of the season.
Yeah, great points there. And so one thing that obviously we've been a bit of a concern over the last few years, Old Trafford, our record obviously there hasn't been as good, really, has it? Not really the fortress that we were used to all those years ago. It seems now. But since losing to Sociedad in October, United have now gone 26 games unbeaten at Old Trafford. So that's 26 games, 22 wins, 4 draws, which is very impressive. And do you think it is becoming a bit more of a fortress again, Jarvis?
Yeah. Old Trafford is becoming the fortress that we were used to under Ferguson. So I'm really excited now. We can see the players get the confidence from the Old Trafford crowd, and we have really and Ten Hag has really shown the players and the crowd to win all games. We're just ruthless. We go straight to the throat of the opposition, and there's no turning back. We can face Liverpool, City, whoever, Barcelona. It doesn't matter. We have our own style, and when we're at Old Trafford, the players are really confident. So this is getting to be a fortress as we were used to in the old days. So may it continue a long time. So the next question is, how do we solve the away problems we have had this season? But I think Ten Hag is just trying to cement the style and learning the players how to play. So after a while, they will probably realize there's no difference if you're away or home. A pitch is a pitch. There's a standard size, and there's 11 against 11. So I think we will, and Ten Hag will fix it, and we will be a title challenging team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, we can only hope so. Obviously, lots of rumours coming out in the last couple of days on takeover. We'll have to see what happens with that, and all very sort of nervy, I guess, at this point, isn't it? With what's been talked about. Just looking at the table here now, very quickly, Freddie. I hope you can see that. If you need me to zoom in, there you go.
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah. So obviously, sitting there in fourth now, we want to get third. I think really we should be getting that. We've got a game in hand over Newcastle, and it is ours to lose, but they're obviously in an incredible run of form. But do you think now top four has got to be ours?
Yes. Yeah. Look, I'm a big.
I know you say that through gritted teeth. I get that. I don't want to jinx anything. I understand.
No,
but
of course.
We've got to look at it realistically, and I just feel that gap is probably too big.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly in our hands for sure. That's for sure. I'm naturally a pessimist until it's mathematically impossible. I won't sort of jump to any conclusions. But yeah, look, I think the Brighton game next week is the big one. If we can somehow manage to get through that unscathed, then yeah, I think that's another game closer to the finish line, and that's probably our most difficult opposition that we've played or have got left to play in the run-in. So yeah, look, it certainly is looking positive, and we are getting there. Our home form is carrying us, as Jarvis sort of summarised there. We do just need to, I think, try and up our away form as well if we want to sort of cement that third place would be brilliant. And if we do manage third, we've got a trophy. We're also in a final. It'd be a fantastic season. So yeah, very positive. We're in the end game now, so we just need to see it through.
Yeah, good points, well made again. I think there were a little bit of concerns with Bruno starting on that right-hand side, but we have seen more often than not this season. I think our win percentage with him there is actually relatively high. Had another very good instrumental performance today, I feel. Really sort of coming back into his own again, and obviously got the goal. Very good finish. I know it took a deflection, but that's so difficult to do, and he did very well to get there and obviously get that goal. 52 touches, 9 final third passes completed, 3 ground duels won, 3 ball recoveries, 2 out of 3 tackles won, 2 long balls completed, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, and 1 goal. Jarvis, how impressed with him were you today?
Bruno, he's Bruno. He's excellent when he plays, and I think this game was really good because he had Sabitzer with him, so he had the opportunity to have someone to help him with the pressure, and they were like going tight up until Rashford. So when they won the ball, there was a short way from where they had the ball to play it to Rashford. So I think they did a brilliant job, and the way, as I said in the beginning, Ten Hag set up the team, because with those two guys pressuring all the time, we didn't give Aston Villa a moment of silence. We just kept on pushing, and also Eriksen in the mix. He was pushing up high and falling down. He was our own regista today, a deep lying playmaker, and I loved Eriksen how he solved that role. Because the problem we have had earlier without Eriksen is we don't have a ball progressor deep in the field. So today, and we saw it especially against Spurs. When Eriksen was taken off the field, we didn't have any ball progressor down deep. So in the beginning, the game was shifting, but when Eriksen was taken off, we started with the slow attacks, and we gave Spurs time to just sit back and wait and counter-attack us time and time again. So Eriksen is very vital and crucial for the way Ten Hag's want to play. So I just gotta keep my fingers crossed for the summer window if we get a deep lying playmaker like Frankie De Jong, because that will be really good, because we need someone extra. Because you saw today, when Eriksen was taken off and Fred was on the field, it stopped. All the progression stopped, and the backroom threat with Rashford in the channels and everything just stopped up. So we have a big problem. But Erik Ten Hag, he have the squad currently, and we don't have any good alternatives. The only thing I could think of is like putting Bruno in the pivot with Casemiro to have a backroom threat. But Bruno is very vital for the last third. So it's one or the other. So for me, we need the Eriksen backup to keep this going.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, and we've kind of spoken about this on shows previously. We talk about Martinez, we talk about Casemiro, but the real missing link for a long time, there's no correlation that since January our form really dipped. Eriksen was obviously out injured, and he really does have so much control on the game, and you saw that today. I think that whilst the number 9 is very important, right back questionable. People can talk about a goalkeeper all they want, maybe one or two others. I think a centre midfielder is a massive, a couple actually. I think we need someone to come in to be an understudy for Casemiro. I do. Yeah. I think we need another centre midfielder, and I really firmly believe that De Jong would be that answer. I was looking through some things the other day in comparison and metrics compared to other players. De Jong is exactly really the profile you need for that, which is very similar to Eriksen. I think he tends to lose the ball far more often, but he's got very, very similar credentials to him, and a very, very important position to fill. I think you're absolutely right.
If I could just, to jump in on the point.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join the post-match on midweek, but I chipped in in the comments. Something I noticed recently was, you're absolutely right. Eriksen as well. He seems to come off 60 minutes every game. Same with Sancho. Anthony obviously came on today, but those three aren't completing 90 minutes. Then you can see when they come off, or certainly Eriksen, his impact's more noticeable. We haven't got the depth to replace him, or the quality to replace him, like for like in terms of profile and quality. And then you do see our second half or the game from then on dip, and we have to change our game plan. And I think this is a big reason why Ten Hag wanted De Jong in the summer. I think we definitely need that type of player, but also type of player aside, we need players who can play 90 minutes, week in, week out, even during the fast turnaround of games that we have, because I just don't think those three in particular have that fitness, and hence it's difficult to rely on them game in, game out. And I think that's something Ten Hag's realised or realising, and something which will be interesting to keep an eye on definitely this summer or in the coming windows.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, imagine getting Frankie in there as well. And I see a lot of people sort of talk about they don't want him because of the way that it was handled in the summer, but none of that was his fault. I don't want to go into this too much, but he's exactly the profile that's needed still. Ten Hag, as we all know, is a massive admirer of his, and this whole salary issue in the summer is completely out of his control. He's not going to say, I want to leave. He would have lost it, yeah? And that means absolutely nothing. So just try to give him a little bit of a benefit of a doubt, if you see what I mean. But anyway, let's move on. Casemiro, obviously under a little bit of scrutiny. I think he probably hasn't been at his best. We said on the reaction the other night and in previews as well. He has definitely been off the pace. Particularly since he come back from his suspension, but he had a good game today. Very, very powerful. Massive presence in that midfield. Great progressive passes. Hit the bar, as you said earlier. But a phenomenal game. 88% pass accuracy, 76 touches, 10 final third passes, which is incredible, isn't it, for a 6? 7 ball recoveries, 6 long balls completed, 4 out of 4 tackles won, 4 ground duels won, 3 air duels won, 2 clearances, 1 key pass, and 1 shot off the woodwork. Jarvis, were you impressed with him today? And Fred, if you want to come in on that after, by all means.
Yeah, Casemiro, I'm glad to see him back to his best, because today was a massive performance from him. He was controlling that midfield. He was shielding Shaw and Lindelof. By the way, they were doing excellent today, especially Lindelof, but we come back to that later. But Casemiro, I'm so glad to see him performing so well. But it's a team effort, and today we made it easier for Casemiro, because he was just laying down deeper and just picking up the fruits that came, because the pressure made Aston Villa play more not so precise. So it was easier for Casemiro. But the only thing that concerns me with Casemiro is his, once every game he has some. I think he loses his head. So he had one really late tackle today. He should have gotten a yellow, but he didn't. But it's getting to be a pattern. So he has to fix that and remove that from his game, because we can't. We rely on Casemiro too much for him to be always suspended from games. So we need an understudy, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
absolutely right. Freddie, come in, please, buddy.
Yeah, look, he had his best game in the last since his last red card. I think that was the best game he's had for a while, and it was noticeable. Everyone seemed to play with a lot more confidence, a lot more better spring in their step. The midfield and the defence looked more assured. He just looked more aggressive. I think since he had that second red card, you could tell his natural game just wasn't there. He always plays on the edge when he's at his best. He's always hovering on that line where his tackles, he'll make that tackle, and it's always, he could get a yellow card, but if he mistimes it by a millisecond. But today he got most of them right, bar that one that Jarvis mentioned earlier. And I just think he gave such a great assurance to the defence, and he's getting involved in our attack and play very well. Certainly with the direct passes to Rashford, you could tell that he was feeding out of defence and playing it from right to left. Hence why we saw a lot of Sancho in the first half and Rashford running in a lot of diagonals from left to right behind Mings and Konsa. So yeah, very good game from him. We need him to be on top form for the rest of the season now if we want to finish off strongly. So yeah, great to see him back as he once was.
Absolutely. Mick, I really appreciate you joining us, buddy. Especially
good afternoon, gents.
Very last minute. Good to have you, my man. How are you feeling after that? Obviously,
I just finished off my rant. I just did a 10 minutes rant, my stream. Joe was saying, come on, jump on the armchair. So hang on, I'm just going to do my rant. I have to do my rant, right? So I am extremely proud of Manchester today and the fan base all around the world that carried us through. Today was Manchester United. Let's break it down. Today was men on the pitch, men that protest, men and women in all generations. The crowd was the 12th wheel supporting this team. I'm so emotional. The chest, to play with his chest up, to play for this badge. You know what I mean? It was so resolute that even I gotta thank Ralph Ragnick for leaving his gegenpress, because we definitely pressed them very high from the very first beginning. They looked toothless first half. And I know Jarvis and me, we did two pre-matches yesterday, and everyone was talking about the good evening ball and, all them jazz. And they have a fantastic team, but we control them. We bossed them. Casemiro, the back four, gentlemen, the back four, like in terms of Malacia. Wow, what a pit bull on a bone. Dalot, I cannot find anything. I can't even find the man of the match, to be honest. So I have to give the man of the match to the protesters all around the world. That's it. I'm so proud. I'm about to cry, man. I'm joking.
We don't mind a few tears on this channel, so if you feel like you need to cry, I've seen Freddie cry a few times actually backstage. So it's not. It's
good to meet you, gents. First time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. Absolutely loving having you here. Yeah, really good all over the field. We were saying, I mentioned earlier, obviously, particularly Malacia making a mistake against Spurs midweek. That would have been a massive knock to his confidence, and I thought he was superb today. Really proud of him. You know how much I rate him, Freddie. I've said this for a long time, and I always like to see him do exceptionally well, and he was. Lindelof had a great game. Luke Shaw, we've already spoken about. Dalot as well. He's been under a bit of scrutiny really recently, isn't he? And he was good today. Victor Lindelof, 97% pass accuracy, 72 touches, 7 ball recoveries, 4 clearances. I mean, those 2 at the end. Unbelievable. I was cheering for that as much as a goal.
That off the line clearance.
Man.
I mean, you know what? He's such a better man improvement since he divorced the fridge, right? Mm-hmm. Just joking, right? So he's a free man now. Like, he plays with freedom, no shackles, But I agree that save at the end with the header, and they all say that Victor Lindelof's frailties in the air, right? That was just mint, right?
Yeah.
And me being Swedish, though, I must be proud to say Lindelof.
Oh, there you go. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. There you go. A really good performance. As I said, difficult, needed, massive 3 points, and really good. And as Freddie's already mentioned about the protest. You're absolutely right. I think that was a massive turnout today and a really big, hopefully, dent into potentially what's going at the minute. There is a picture going around which Freddie made me aware of Erik ten Hag waving a yellow and green flag. Now, take that as you will. I don't think he probably understands, but if he does, he's got balls of steel, and love that. Anyway, it's good to see. We are going to come on to player ratings. Actually, I need to make it a relatively quick one tonight. The missus isn't very well. I'm feeling a bit rubbish.
My divorce papers on the table. I've been streaming all day.
Christ almighty. We'll have to have a chat about that after. So anyway, David De Gea, I'll come to you first. Jarvis, over to you.
Yeah, David De Gea, he was good today. Didn't do anything wrong. He was even coming off from his back line. He was playing as a sweeper at times. So today, he was really good. I give De Gea I'll be generous. I give him a 7.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 8 with that. I was going to probably give him a 7 myself. But yeah, I think absolutely spot on. I think it was calm. Distribution was okay. He was tested a couple of times, and a solid performance. And as Julio said in the comments, 2 more clean sheets than anybody else in the Premier League now, which, I know that's obviously part of the defence too, but he needs to be sort of given plaudits as well at times when he has a great game, which he did. Just to say to you, a load of you on Twitter, actually, come over to youtube.com/weekly armchair sports talk. We can't see your comments on there. We'd love to see them, read them out, and come over. And those of you that are already here, make sure you like and subscribe. And Jarvis is joined by family by the looks as well. Hey! Cuties. We got everyone here today. Everyone's sharing the love and excitement, aren't they? Right, moving on to Diogo Dalot. I'll come to you on this one, Freddie.
I'll give him a 7. I think he was quite solid today. Didn't do anything noteworthy in particular, but defensively very good. A few well-timed tackles. I don't really remember anyone causing him too much grief at the back, which it's a good, always good for your fullbacks. So I'll give him a 7. He supported Bruno quite well, joined the midfield as Ten Hag has been utilising the fullbacks as this season. So yeah, solid 7. And I think it was a bit of a surprise when we saw his name ahead of Wan-Bissaka's pre-game, but he certainly had a good game and justified the start today. So yeah, 7 for Dalot.
Yeah, very fair. I think I'm going to see a consistency here, a bit of a pattern with the scores that are going to be coming out. Unless, Mick, obviously, we don't know how optimistic or pessimistic you are, but I'll come to you on Lindelof, please, buddy.
Oh, my God. You gave me the best piece of chocolate, you know what I mean?
Well, I thought as it was your first time here,
Yeah.
Can I
just add something? Can I add a little bit extra spice on David De Gea, please?
Right. Yeah, go for it.
I don't know what you give him a 7. Come on, he did an amazing header. He did a butcher, right? Did you see that header? He was flying Dutchman, but it was, the ball from Pamplona. He just went like boom.
Yeah,
it was solid today. Solid. Lindelof, I must say, one of my man of the match contenders. He played a very important part. He's improved massively, and he really stepped up when it's needed. But when our chips were down, when we were lacking Varane, when we were lacking the real butcher, Victor Lindelof proves that you don't need a butcher, you need a Viking. You need an Iceman. So he was cool, composed, didn't put one foot wrong, and yeah. And he saved us at the end. For me, Lindelof gets an 8, 100%, 8.
Yeah.
Can we multiply that with 100?
If you want to give him 800, that is up to you. I think
I feel generous today. No, 8.
Yeah,
8
yeah,
for me.
love it. Yeah, love it. No, I think that's fair. He was very solid today. I think obviously that penalty winner probably has boosted his confidence a bit. I don't think there's ever been a question on Lindelof and his ability. And Maguire even, listen, I firmly believe if you get a quick centre-back like Martinez that's probably more composed on the ball, has got better spatial awareness, which Lindelof actually has, he's just not very fast, you have a better player in both Maguire and Lindelof. And he was superb today.
You can play Maguire in games where it's suited his game, but if we're going to play a high line, what we did today was a perfect setup, according to my opinion. It was, they played a high line, we played a high line, but if we were playing Maguire today, we would probably not be able to play a high line because the centre backs
that's correct.
Yeah, they would probably not go forward. Yeah, I'm sorry, too much coffee.
No, absolutely, you're absolutely right. I think we do tend to struggle to play the ball forward out from the back too. I think you saw that very clearly against Sevilla. And Lindelof is probably a better passer of the ball, I think, and certainly more calm. So, yeah, absolutely spot on. Moving over to Malacia, Jarvis.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to come back to Lindelof because one thing that Aston Villa was trying to do, they were trying to target Lindelof. I saw they put Watkins on Lindelof all the time. And they were trying to get the game physical. But Lindelof, he was excellent. He was so aggressive. He didn't give Watkins any space. Watkins is one of the most informed strikers in the Premier League. And Lindelof, he put him in his back pocket. He was so aggressive. He was forcing him to he was trying to get free kicks all the time. But Lindelof, he's so good at pressing without being going over the line. So Watkins was he had nothing today.
Shut out. Yeah.
So but back to Malacia. He's turning out to be a little pit bull. It's so good. He's so fast, and it's so funny to see him play because it's just like when you were in school, you had the little kid with who everybody thought was the worst player. But he has so big kahunas, and when he comes on that pitch, he grows. He's small, but he grows. He's big. He had that beautiful slide tackle in the game, and he's so cool. And he never complains. He just lift himself up and jog home after a duel, and
And he took fouls when he took smart fouls when it was needed as well.
Yes, so he's a fan favorite, and especially a favorite for me. I love Malacia when he plays games like this, and he's young. He could be the next Patrick Evra or another great fullback, but we have to give him time and be nice when he have bad games. We don't want to break him down too much because you need the confidence also.
I like Malaysia too. Malacia. I'm dyslexic. Sometimes I spell it Malaysia.
I think he's
brilliant. What a signing! 12 million. What do we do in Bayern?
12 million. He's 23 years old, very very young. He's got his ceilings very high. We were saying this on the reaction the other day. I love him. I think he's got a very similar profile to Patrice. I think that's a fair comparison. Obviously, not at that ability yet, but certainly could get there. And as you say, we can point out the things that he may have done, and he was poor against Spurs. And we all wanted him to bounce back, and he absolutely did that today. Really, really impressive. Right, let's move on to Casemiro then. Freddie, over to you, my good man.
You had Lindelof.
Okay, you get the best piece of the
now.
I think like you mentioned, Lindelof contender man of the match. I'd put Casemiro in that bracket too. I think they were two best players today.
I agree. Yeah.
Again, needed performance from everyone. I think everyone turned up today. Everyone had a good game. After 2 or 3 shaky games, certainly Malacia. It's good to see Ten Hag put his faith in him, certainly after the Seville game and Tottenham last game as well. Casemiro back to his best today. He was doing the basics right. He was cutting out the passing channels. His passing over the top to Rashford was very good today. And he was just back to his aggressive self. I think he's been a little bit passive since he's come back after his second red card, and he. Whether it's a little bit of the rain, he likes sliding around, and it benefits his game. He seems to have that confidence back and looking like he was prior to the red card. So yeah, I'd give him an 8 as well. I think either him or Lindelof for man of the match. One of the two.
Yeah. Spot on. Ten Hag is obviously doing some of his interviews now. He said a good 3 points, but I think an impressive performance from Manchester United. We were magnificent on the ball, had good possession and pressed well. He talks about Lindelof, played brilliant. He was totally in control of the area around Watkins. All of you have spoken about it. And you're going to be pressing again in a minute, are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Ragnick left this in the locker room. So come
on. Love that. We're going to have to get you on again, buddy. I'm sorry it's been such a short amount of time, to be honest. I wish you were
here. I'd love to come on. I just had to do my own reaction. I just got to
No, absolutely fine. Priorities. We appreciate you here anyway, buddy. Right, Christian Eriksen then, and I'll give that to you then, Mick.
Eriksen was solid for me as well. I mean, obviously, he's just come back from an injury knock. You cannot play him now full 90 minutes, but he was very instrumental in the first half in the way we were opening up the midfield, and the way he was passing the ball and finding open spaces to Rashford and the wingers to run on. Surprisingly, I thought we were going to play Anthony on the right wing, but we played Bruno, and I think Bruno did a fantastic job playing on the right wing. And Sancho, for me, he serviced the right balls. Cojones balls. Sorry. YouTube algorithm is not funny. I didn't say that. Eriksen, 7.5. Sorry. Yeah, he's got to be a 7.5. He didn't complete 90 minutes, but I can understand. He's just come back from injury, but we saw, and I want to mention this, a very valid point, right? Guys, take a step back and think about the midfield combination we had prior to his injury, right? I always talk about the Bermuda Triangle of Manchester, and that is the starting from the Butcher, Martinez, Varane, and Casemiro. That is one triangle, right, in terms of the Johan Cruyff system. But then you have another triangle on top of that, and that is our original midfield that started today, and that is actually Casemiro, Eriksen, and on top of that is Bruno. So we played without him, and it's been clear and obvious what we've been missing, but we have a register here. We have somebody that can play good passes, through balls, long balls. But also, if you look at what Casemiro did, also hitting long balls as well. So, yeah, for me, 7.5. Brilliant. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think just to add, touch on Eriksen, you can tell, Ten Hag obviously made the substitution 60 minutes against Tottenham, and obviously I gave him half an hour in the game switch. It kept him on a bit longer today. I think it was 75th minute.
Yeah. 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there to be full 90 minutes full fit.
Exactly. By that time, the game was more or less done, bar flurry at the end. And with him, we controlled the game better. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's
Is Liverpool up 2-0 against Spurs?
Yeah, 2-0 already. I've just switched it on, just trying to work out who it was. Not that it matters. Bunch of bastards. Doesn't matter either way.
9 minutes in and 2-0 up already.
I know, which I think Freddie mentioned in the comments there is making the result maybe look worse. But perhaps the same thing can happen again. Spurs come back in the second half, do exactly the same. These things can happen, and it's definitely going to happen against them if it happens to us, for sure, this season. Right, moving on to Sabitzer. Obviously started the game. How do you think he fared, Jarvis?
Yeah, I love Sabitzer when he plays in the 10 because he's so intelligent. You know, his movement is extremely precise. You know, he when Rashford moves, he fills in Rashford's pockets, and he knows when to help out in the midfield. So everything he does is for the team. You don't notice him, especially if you don't follow the formations and stuff like that. But he's very good in his movement, and I think it helps out the balance in the team because sometimes when Bruno plays in the 10. He moves away from his position, and there's a whole big empty space there. But when Sabitzer is there, he's always around. So I love how his intelligence is.
He looked dangerous today in number 10 position.
He did.
Yeah, and another thing is he's really good at tackling the ball and getting the ball up high. You know, he's not like running really hard and fast into his player. He does like Casemiro. You know, if there's a duel, he doesn't immediately run back or stuff like that. He just
he's ready. He's ready to get stuck in, isn't he? He's not.
Yeah,
he's not
fish
really
up
afraid,
the fruits when they
missed a bit
right.
of that. I think we've spoken about that a few times over the last few seasons. I think we missed a little bit of that. Really, he's a very different number 10 to Bruno. Bruno is more of a ball progressor, likes to play off the risky passes, whereas Sabitzer is kind of in and out, pass and move, sort of dropping into pockets, and he does that very, very well. And I think he's actually not become a majorly important player for us, but a very, very good option to have. And I'm happy to see him start every week. By all means,
it's a good option, Mark. And
imagine as well what really frustrates me is obviously we only went in for him. Of course, we can all moan about the circumstances. We went in for him because Eriksen was injured. Now we've got both of them. It's good to have those options. You know, the whole point is you have maybe four squad depth, obviously, but you have 4 potential starters you could have, right? We have 3, and you need to be able to have obviously at least 3 really decent ones. And I think he's been a major coup, and I really hope United do sign him on a permanent.
Yeah,
I think
and just imagine if Erik Ten Hag goes and added Frankie de Jong to that side as well, then you have a mouth-watering midfield.
And if we can get Sabitzer for 25, 30 million
I think
from Bayern Munich, he would be an excellent signing.
I think they will do that.
I think, I do. I think they want 18 million. I think that's, in this market, incredible value. You know, before he moved to Bayern, he was amazing at Leipzig. Liverpool were majorly interested, almost got him, and it all fell through on the last minute, I believe. So obviously that's a nice 2 fingers against them as well. But anyway, moving on then. Bruno started on the right-hand side in the front 3 today. Obviously dropped back. We knew he would do that. Very versatile this season, I think. And I'll come to you on this, obviously, Freddie. Very good performance, got the goal. And our best winning percentage is when he has started on that right-hand side. We've won a lot of games, at least, when he's played there. And obviously, he can just roam, can't he? But a very good performance today, don't you think?
Yes, I actually thought he was largely anonymous first half, and then he pops up with the goal. It's going to be difficult for them to come back to that one. I think it's tactical when he goes out there. I think when you play Sabitzer in the middle, you've got Sabitzer's a lot more. He's better at joining the attack. You notice that he goes into the box last minute. The gap between him and the striker is a lot smaller. You don't get that with Bruno. So I think there was a tactical element there. Bruno's good at also tracking back. He's got the stamina when he does play right. And I think the tactic today was most of our attacks are on the left, and Bruno, whoever's on the right, spray it to the left effectively. I'd be interested to see the heat map of the percentage of our attacks coming on the left hand side, and so there's definitely a tactical element there from Ten Hag. And you're right. Also, playing with Bruno outright, you crowd the midfield. We won the midfield battle today. Something which usually Villa are very good at with McGinn and Douglas Luiz and Ramsey. So, I identified that as something we would get up on them on, play that extra midfield, loaded on. And then when Anthony came on, he even went to the left. He kept Bruno out wide. So I think he had a very good game. I think you've got to be select with the games that you play him out there for. But yeah, it's a good alternative to playing as a secondary striker, effectively, leading the press like Bruno does, and then Bruno having a bit more creativity on the right, rather than Anthony cutting in mostly and going for the long shot. So good.
All too often.
Exactly.
100 club goals today.
Yeah, very good.
Which, to be honest, that surprised me a bit. I thought he might have had a few more at Sporting. I know he's been unbelievable for us, and his goal assist return has been never going to be broken. But unbelievable today, and 100 club goals. Right, final two then. And Mick, I will give you Sancho, please.
Oh, before we go on Sancho, there's like 15 minutes, 3-0 pen, Liverpool up. I mean, I think this is sponsored by Men in Black because this looks like an early funeral for them, right? Like, seriously. All they want to do is take that rod afterwards and just forget about it.
Has anyone ever replaced the third interim manager during the season, or the two?
I mean,
he's the second.
This is funny for me. This is funny. You sack Conte, then you sack Stellini after 4 games, and then you sack Stellini and replace. It's like, you sub the original player to sub with another substitute to sub the other substitute. So basically, you're throwing away the season, and Liverpool is now creeping up on 5th. Where did that come from? Yeah, sorry. Back to your point. Let's talk about
Sancho, please, buddy.
Let's talk about Jason Sancho. Okay, Jadon Sancho, fantastic. He needed a little bit of a break, obviously, for mental health issues, right? And Ten Hag is such an astute manager, so understood. Not many managers would do such a thing just to give players space, time to heal, and he's done that. And ever since he scored that penalty, I swear to God, when he took that penalty, in the semifinals, I instantly had a flashback for the Euros, right? When he Rashford and Saka missed, and they got so much stick. Of course, players read social media, players get affected. But he took that penalty, and scoring that penalty, I think something clicked in his confidence, because ever since then, last game he played amazing. Of course, we subbed him off, but today he played a major part on that left side wing. Definitely, he did. So
he's so good at retaining the ball when he's on it, and he's done that last couple of games, as you say. When he's on it, he's so it sticks to his feet, and he's a very different inside forward to anything we've got. Really, really good performance today.
From a tactical perspective, when I first saw the lineup, I was like, well, I don't really get it. Like I even said to Jarvis, I don't really get it. But now I get it, because at the end of the day, he had a plan. He had weapons in mind, because you can sub him out and put Anthony as well. I was just over the moon, Sancho did well. Yeah. Sancho did well.
It's good to see. And it's good to see.
For me, Sancho, I cannot give him my 8, but I keep 7.5. Actually, 7.5. I'm generous today.
Yeah.
Sancho.
I think that's fair. Yeah. And last but not least, we won't do subs today. Marcus Rashford, and I'll give that to you, Jarvis, and then we will wrap up.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to come back a little bit about Sancho, because the thing with Sancho, I don't like, because it seems to me that it's not in sync, if you understand, when we go forward, because when we attack with power and pace. But Sancho, he likes to progress the ball himself. So he don't push forward as all of the other do. He holds back. So if, for example, Malacia comes up with the ball, Sancho just stand there and crowd his pace, because Sancho wants the ball himself and progress it. So I don't know if Sancho is aware of this or if, but I bet Ten Hag sees it. But from his time as a player, he has always progressed the ball. He's one of the best ball progressor in the game. But as we play today, I don't think it suited our style. So he's a little bit off. And also when he gets the ball and he progresses it up to his man, he doesn't take him on. He stops and look back because he plays it safe. So I would like him to have more courage and try to go past this man. And I want him to attack with more power and more pace for me to be happy with his performance. So in my
it's
mind,
coming, Jarvis. It's slowly coming. His confidence is coming.
He's progressing.
Why are you talking about the old Jadon Sancho at Dortmund taking on players and stuff like that? Yeah, I get. But you can see the patterns is coming back, right? So I 100% hear what you're saying. But I think with a little bit of preseason, fresh start, finish off this league, you see a different Sancho next season.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. But it's a problem that always comes back with him because he don't have the confidence. So I'm not sure how to do it, because when the game gets physical, he jumps aside. He never takes the tackle. He never puts his body on the line for to getting free kicks and stuff like that. So and he did so today also, because now I'm starting to notice. So it kind of irritates me a little bit. But Sancho is a good player, but I would like to see the Sancho we saw in Borussia Dortmund.
But one thing we have to keep in mind that he will be challenged next season by Garnacho. He will be pushed.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So,
I think next season is definitely make or break for him. I do think it's a massive season for him. You've got to remember, I really rate him. I do. I think there's so much talent there, and I think unbelievable numbers. It's not going to be the same in the Premier League. It's just not the same, right? So you can't expect that. But you've got to remember, 4 different managers, very inconsistent. Not him, just the whole thing. And he came in the summer just before Ollie was obviously dismissed. Then you had Carrick, then you had Ralph, now you've had Erik ten Hag. And really, I don't think Jadon is quite the profile, really, that Erik ten Hag wants. But he has to improve the things that he needs to. And I think you're right. I think trying to be a little bit more bullish in the tackle is something he does need to improve. But I think he's done good. And I think we should just, obviously, as I know you all feel that way, be pleased with the performances we've seen, certainly in the last couple of games. And that keeps coming. It keeps ticking along nicely. He'll get those numbers and a few goals here and there and assists here and there. So let's just hope that he does that. Right, guys, we are going...
Let's hope so. But just to come back to Rashford.
Sorry, mate.
Rashford,
I left it out. Sorry, I'm waffling. But,
I forgot about that. Well done. Thank you.
So Rashford, what I like about Rashford, when he plays in the 9, he stretches out the opposition team because he's always a constant threat through the channels. He just pushes down the channels all the time. So as long as we feed him with the passes, he will run and be there. So it's very hard to be a defender against Rashford because of his pace. You can never relax, because even if you have him right in front of you, you can't move as fast as he does. So today it was really important that Rashford played in the 9, because it helped out Ten Hag to break down Aston Villa and their compact defense. So Rashford was brilliant. He lacks a little bit end product for me to give him an 8 or a 9, but I give him a 7+.
Solid, I think.
Yeah, I think he was relatively solid. I think the commentators mentioned that as well. I think he was running off the shoulder so often, it was really keeping them on their toes, and was a pivotal part in the first goal.
Freddie, I mean, sorry, can I throw it back something to you, man? Because I was thinking while the game was progressing, Freddie, I was thinking, hang on, Rashi is number 9. Erik ten Hag sees something. Then I'm starting to think, what do we have on the wings? And now we're going into the transfer market. Freddie, do you see him next season's relying on Rashford to play as a number 9, considering that Martial is not really consistent in his injuries and form?
No, I don't, Mick. I think he's our best left winger.
It's
a good option. I mean, it depends on the type of person, striker profile of striker we sign in the summer. If we do sign a Harry Kane, for example, there might be the odd game where he does play Rashford centrally. Certainly, if there's a high line and space to exploit. But I think it's a difficult. It's a bit like Luke Shaw, centre back. When you put them in a secondary position, you're losing their primary position. So I think he'll stay on the left. He's a good option to have centrally, but I don't think he's got that instinct that a true world class number 9 has. I think his first touch was struggling today. If he had his first touch on point today, he could have got a few more goals. But,
I just felt sorry he didn't score, because he had great opportunities. But one thing is very clear to us, gentlemen, by looking, it was knock who is there, right? Because there was numerous balls coming in and nobody to tap it in or score, right? So we need a prolific goal scorer, tap in.
Yeah, I think Freddie's absolutely spot on there. It's funny enough, I've had this debate with someone else today. This person said, I don't like it when he plays at number 9. And I disagree with him, because I think that it's a good option to have. I think he's been good there. There is absolutely no doubt that he's better as an inside forward on the left. No doubt about that. And it's a good option to have. And it was shown today, evidence was there today, when you come up against a particular opposition where you need to kind of test their back four. Rashford's great off the shoulder. I know he gets offsides a lot, but got better with that, and that really helped. And listen, we absolutely need a world class number 9. I think Rashford could play there, but I'd say to move him back over to the left hand side when we've got that, in my opinion. Anyway, guys, we're going to come to the end. Mick, I really appreciate you coming along, buddy, and I'd love to get you on next time for another show.
Anytime. That's what we're here for, to collaborate, spread the positivity, be real.
That is it. Unlike other channels, eh? But yeah, great to have you, buddy. I have been lying to you, actually, recently. Not you, Mick, everyone else in the channel recently. Right. We were supposed to get a few people from 1958, but unfortunately, that didn't happen before. But of course, we are going to be getting someone on next week, we believe. Keane will be able to give more details, or certainly their Twitter account, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Got some people coming on for that, so that'll be good. Be nice to get their kind of viewpoint on how it went and what the atmosphere and that kind of thing was like. So apologies for that, but we will be doing that. Thanks for joining me, guys. Really appreciate it. Nice to get another 3 points, massive 3 points. And of course to Freddie, Jarvis and Mick for joining me too. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.